first up, let me give you a sense of what does this actually mean. We have been speaking about the axis numbers. What does this mean? Let me give you a sense of what the Axis My India is saying in terms of the numbers. How are the NDA parties, that is the BJP, the JDU, Chirag Paswan's LJP, the HAM and the RLM doing? Just look at the big numbers. This is how it is looking like. So it is 43% vote share for the NDA. That's why Nitish Kumar looks a happier man in this video. And also Mahagathbandhan stands at 41%, which is translating into somewhere between 98 to 118. Now let's take a look at the vote share as far as Jan Suraj party of Prashant Kishore is showing it's about to just perhaps open its vote account. Jan Suraj will get somewhere around 4% is what Axis My India is projecting. As far as Nitish Kumar-led NDA is concerned, they are standing at 43%. Remember, this is a significant increase from what the NDA got in 2020. In 2020, both the Mahagathbandhan and the NDA were standing at 37% each. But because of the addition of Chirag Paswan's LJP in this number, it has gone up significantly, just as MJB seems to have expanded its base with the addition of two important parties, that is the VIP party, which is bringing the Malla vote or the Nishad voters from the larger EBC kitty, and also IP Singh's party. So this is how it looks like. As far as Prashant Kishore's Jan Suraj party is concerned, it is likely to get somewhere below 5%. Does it mean that will he be able to register his party in Bihar? A big question. What is the future of his party, again, is a big question. But let me bring in Javed Ansari on that point. If we are looking at the vote share, this is very much in the margin of error, Javed Ansari. Plus minus 3% is in the margin of error. So it could go either ways, although when we look at the overall seat conversion or seat projected by Axis My India, it's giving a different picture.
Indeed it is. And not just Axis My India, but even if you go by what your reporters have been saying. And I've had the benefit of sitting at home and watching closely following what reporters have been saying in their broadcasts. All of them point to a much closer contest than what is being predicted by most pollsters, barring, of course, Axis My India. So it will make for an exciting finish. Perhaps if the results stay the way they are being projected, then it could mirror the outcome of 2020, where it was a close finish, just about 15 seats, which made all the difference. And this begs the question: if this was so close, if Tejashwi and Mr. Nitish Kumar were both the spearheads, they were the ones on whose face this election was being fought, then why did their respective alliances not? Why did the India Alliance or Mahagathbandhan wait till the 11th hour to project Tejashwi? And why did the NDA fail to formally announce Mr. Nitish Kumar as the Chief Minister?
But, you know, someone will call it a double-edged sword with what you just said. But what we're going to do is we're going to continue to get you the latest data that is coming in, what we've analyzed over the course of the next few hours. But I want to quickly, Maria, take a moment and introduce our panelists this evening to our viewers who are just about joining us. What you see on your television screen, viewers, is a 2% gap between the NDA and the Mahagathbandhan. Where it comes down to translation in seats, and we'll put out the translation of seats on what is the projection by Axis of My India. Just switch to translation of seats, and you'd actually see in that data point there that it's just where the NDA is concerned, 121 to 141, and the MJB 98 to 118. If the scenario plays out where the NDA comes and meets its lower end and the MJB at an higher end, then we are in for a contest. Otherwise, it's game, set and match where it comes down to the NDA. Cutting across to our panelists, Muhammad Ali Ashraf Fatmi, Senior Leader, RJD and former Union Minister joining us. Sanjay Jaiswal will be with us shortly. Lok Sabha MP, BJP and former State President BJP Bihar. Rajat Sethi, political analyst, is with us. Javed Ansari continues to be with us in the studio. Sajan Kumar, political analyst, is also with us. Let's cut across to our RJD guest, Maria, Muhammad Ali Ashraf Fatmi. Muhammad Ali, if you look at the numbers there, So close yet so far. Even if these numbers hold directionally, they do give it to the NDA. What you would hope today is the projection meets the higher end of the MJB and the lower end of the NDA. Those are not good statistics to bank on.
No, in fact, you are not looking into the, the people who are living outside and the planned vote, I mean the migrant vote. They came in big number all over Bihar and they voted for change. They don't want to go back to any other place other than Bihar. They want to be in Bihar and they voted for Tejashwi for change.
जी
Because
फातमी
Tejashwi
साहब
has
फातमी साहब आपने ये कहा कि ये वोट फॉर चेंज है और आप लोगों का पूरा कैलकुलेशन माइग्रेंट वोटर्स की तरफ जा रहा है, लेकिन अगर ओवरऑल मार्जिन देखा जाए
देखिए
उसमें परसेंटेज ऑफ वुमेन वोटर्स हाई है और वुमेन वोटर्स अगर हम लोग बात कर रहे थे जमीन पर जाकर के महिलाओं से, उनका तो व्यू अभी भी वही है कि नीतीश कुमार ने ये दिया वो पूरा गिना देती हैं और यही बोलती हैं कि आरजेडी के टाइम पर जंगल राज था, सिक्योरिटी का इशू था।
कोई गरीब आदमी नहीं बोला होगा ये बात। ये अमीर लोग जो बीजेपी के वोटर हैं, लीडर हैं, वही इस बात को बोलते हैं। जो गरीब हैं वो जानते हैं कि लालू का राज, राबड़ी का राज, गरीबों का राज था और गरीब लोग को उसमें उनका अधिकार और राइट मिला। वो था, वो जो पहला जो थी लड़ाई वो सामाजिक न्याय की थी, अब आर्थिक न्याय की लड़ाई है।
चलिए वो तो कल वो पता चल जाएगा फातमी साहब, वो तो कल पता चल जाएगा when that last vote is counted कि किसकी लड़ाई है और कौन जीता इसमें। पर एक हमारे साथ बनी रही है because ultimately viewers, I want to just cut across to like I said, our election intelligence dashboard. We've been pointing out you have only one place to turn to when it comes to data analytics, and it is India Today. Because one thing, Maria and Javed, both of you in the studio with us, we've been discussing over the course of the last 24 hours, needs to look at very closely is the voter turnout. Is it a trend which is pointing towards pro-incumbency or anti-incumbency? And for the first time ever since, viewers, ever since independence, Bihar has not voted in the kind of bumper voting percentage that we have seen. So see right from there, 2010 to all the way back till 2025. It's 67% where the voter turnout is concerned. Now, let's micro-analyze this data where gender comes into question and project it vis-a-vis with what Access My India, and that's going to be our reference points for this bulletin, in terms of where gender comes into question, which side gender has tilted towards. The last time around, many thought it was the Mahila vote which had counted and made the NDA win. This time, some say that we are, possibly the vote was undercounted, the Mahila vote last time. Is it being overcounted this time? We'll get down to what Access My India has predicted, but let's look at the gender turnout there. And you see a whopping difference between the male and the female turnout where gender comes into question. And it's only the gap has been widening ever since 2010. This time, the maximum there, you can see a 9% difference where gender comes into question. And usually in Bihar, Javed, and we'll bring in our other guests as well, usually in Bihar is seen that when there is a very high voter turnout, that would mean that Sarkar badal rahi hai. There's anti-incumbency. But having said that, if that voter turnout comes in the form of women, which are about 9% higher than men, and we're only looking at gender, we're not looking at the youth factor right now, the NDA would say we have it in the bag because they've traditionally cultivated the Mahila vote where Nitish Kumar is concerned. Let's bring out the figures right now when it comes down to what Access My India predicted or projected, where the woman vote was concerned, and there lies the devil in the detail, Javed. 4% gap between the Mahagathbandhan and the NDA 4% more. Women have polled for the NDA, while the gap is just 1% where it comes down to men, and MGB has the advantage there.
Yeah, so conventional wisdom, and if the past is anything to go by, would suggest that usually the last turnout means that people have voted against the incumbent, voted against the sitting government. They want to vote out. That's what has happened largely. But in this case, there's been a surge as far as there's a big difference. Big difference between the women voters. There's a huge surge as far as women voters are concerned. And even apart, and both empirical data as well as anecdotal evidence seems to suggest that women in larger numbers have voted for the NDA
and Preeti,
than they have
just
voted.
an interesting
Let's pull out the
instance
data,
here.
Maria. Let's ask our producers to pull out the women data in terms of the gender, at least what was projected by Access My India. Let's pull that data out, which actually shows that there's a 4% gap when it comes down to women voting for the NDA vis-a-vis the MJB, and a 1% lead of MJB Mahagathbandhan when it comes down to men. Let's put out that data first. Over to you, Maria.
Yes, so instance, it's rather interesting that since Nitish Kumar came to power in 2005 December, there has been a trend of rising voter turnout. 2010, it goes up to 52%. 2015, increase of almost like 5% from 2010. And 2020, again, it's a surge of 2%. And every time there has been a surge, it has also meant the return of the incumbent. So, as we have been saying, it's very confounding when it comes to Bihar, because when pollsters say that they know about the state purely in terms of arithmetic, Bihar speaks about chemistry. And when you speak about only the Mahila voter, this time Bihar is speaking about the Yuva voters. Sajan Kumar, your thought on this? Because, when we look at the Access data purely on what they have put out in the context of the Yuva voters, it becomes very interesting, because the first time Yuva voters are all moving towards Tejashwi Yadav, while Mahila vote is consolidating firmly behind Nitish, as they have been doing in 2 consecutive elections. I mean, in 2010, 2015, 2020, the entire women voter has been the reason behind Nitish Kumar's return.
Yes, Maria, going by the Access My data, there seems to be one novelty in this election, and that is about directionally opposite trends among the youth and women, right?
Yes, yes.
Yes, directionally. Earlier, it used to be directionally both youth and women will vote more to the incumbent or for change. There may be a degree of difference. But for the first time, we are witnessing that while more and more women are voting, that was obvious on the ground also, reflected in the data also, for the incumbent, while the youths are in a slighter degree higher voting for change. Now, that means every household is witnessing a rupture in terms of voting preference on the basis of gender. And that's very interesting, because usually the conventional wisdom and ground experience has been that voting decisions are taken at household level, primarily in a rural society. Bihar is 90% rural. And therefore, we were expecting that not only more women will vote for the incumbent because of policy outreach, but they would also become the anchor of voting decision at their household level, something which we do not see happening. And that is why this election is giving a very rupturous voting pattern on the basis of gender, which means that not only male and female are voting in different directions, it also means that at many household level, you find that women are acquiring some sort of autonomy vis-a-vis the male counterpart. And that is really interesting.
One point, I'll ask Fatmi Saab now. Fatmi Saab, यहाँ पर अगर युवा की चर्चा की जाए तो एक्सेस माई इंडिया ये बता रहा है कि जो फर्स्ट टाइम वोटर्स हैं 18 से 19 जो उनका एज ग्रुप है उसमें 46% जो आपका लगभग 50% के करीब आपकी तरफ वोट आ रहा है।
जी, और यही वोटर है जो अपने माँ को भी, अपनी बहनों को भी कन्विंस कर रहा है कि आप चेंज के लिए वोट कीजिए बिहार के अंदर। तो ये आप ये समझ रही हो कि महिला सिर्फ सिंगल एक कॉज के लिए वोट कर रही है, वो गलत है। वो चेंज के लिए भी वोट कर रही है। और मैं आपसे बताऊं, आप ने अगर वॉच किया हो तो इस इलेक्शन में जो तेजस्वी के वोटर है, स्पेशली जो समझा जाता है कि उस ग्रुप में ये वोट गिरेगा, जरा उसका भी थोड़ा आप जो वोट गिराया है उन्होंने, उसका परसेंटेज निकलवा के देख लीजिए। आपको मालूम पड़ेगा कि पिछले लोकसभा के मुकाबले में तकरीबन 10% वोट इन लोगों ने ज्यादा गिराया। और यही कारण है कि सीमांचल के अंदर परसेंटेज ऑफ वोट काफी बढ़ गया है। अगर आप
बहुत
दूसरे
बहुत
इलाके को
डिफरेंट
लीजिए और
पॉकेट्स है, जहां
सीमांचल
ज्यादा
को,
बड़ा है, जहां कम हुआ है, उसको कैसे डिसाइफर करना है वो बहुत मुश्किल हो जाता है, क्योंकि ये मल्टी लेयर्ड कॉन्टेस्ट है। पर आप कह रहे हैं जो 19%,
लेकिन
सर मैं अभी उसी की बात कर रही हूँ कि जो
ये जो
प्रोजेक्शन है, एक्सेस माई इंडिया का प्रोजेक्शन है 18 to 29 ईयर्स ऑफ एज, उसमें बहुत सारे नए वोटर हैं, उसमें आपकी महागठबंधन की 19% लीड है। ये मैं एक्सेस माई इंडिया, वो हम वी कैन प्ले दोस ग्राफिक्स देयर वेयर there is a 19% lead of the youth between the age group of 18 to 29 years in favor of the Mahagathbandhan. That is what's projected vis-a-vis the
that is
NDA.